But I really have important memories tied into Korea because that's where I sort of crashed up against another culture. That's where I learned how to communicate without fully speaking the language. When I was trying to teach English conversation to these kids, and I realized the challenges that they were going through, and they knew a lot more English than I knew Korean. And so I think those early lessons of learning to be intuitive on the road, to get past that initial level of culture shock that might tempt you to think that everybody is conspiring against you to make you feel like an idiot, getting past that paranoia of early culture shock and learning to relax and operate intuitively in another country is important. And my crash course for that was Korea. I was frustrated a lot in Korea. And Korea can be as or more workaholic than the U.S., and I was working there. But man, it was such an important 2 years, and the lessons I learned. I tell people often that be an expat at some point. That travel notwithstanding, go to a place and live there for a year or two, because the lessons you learn there are going to be essential, and they'll make you a better traveler, and they'll make you a better American if that's where you're from. And so I wouldn't trade my 2 often difficult years in Korea for anything.
Yeah, one of my cousins, Jim, he had been teaching in Korea, in Busan for, I think, 6 years. He's a university professor, and he teaches sound theory and sound design. But
I lived in Busan, so...
Yeah, he went out there and he fell in love with it. And then actually, I believe one of our DNA members, Gray, he told me at one point, he taught in Korea, and I think he was inspired by you, as a matter of fact.
It's funny. I've populated Korea with a lot of teachers.
Yeah.
Proudly so, because it was so important for me. And I think, there's a lot of people who read vagabonding, and there's a world full of countries to teach in, but they think, well, Rolf did it, so we'll do the same. And I hear from a lot of the Korea expats because we have a lot in common. Once you've lived in Korea for a while, you can read Hangul and you love the food, and it's fun to hear from those kind of people.